Welcome back for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place for all of us by helping us lock up the bad guys. I'm Chris Wright, your host, along with Calhoun County Sheriff Larry Amerson. Sheriff, it is good to see you today.
It's good to be here, Chris. I missed a few shows. I hate it when I do, but it's great to be here with you.
Today is one of those days that really shows what this show is all about. Earlier today, we got to present an award to somebody who got involved in a very specific and deliberate manner.
Wow, did they not? Our Crime Stopper of the Year, folks, we were able to recognize earlier today with a news conference, had him at the sheriff's office and presented him with a plaque, and our true, sincere appreciation for his heroism in a local event.
Now, Justin Bowling is the individual that we're talking about, and he showed up at the press conference today with some protection on his hand where he actually got injured trying to protect the people at the Huddle House where the incident occurred. His fingers, looks like he's permanently pointing. He's got something holding the finger out there. I think, was it a tendon that got ripped? Or
the tendon was cut in half. And what we're talking about is we had a strong arm robbery of the Huddle House in Alexandria, or at least an attempt to. Thanks to Josh, that attempt was unsuccessful. The suspect came in and pushed the lady working the register down, and without any hesitation, without any thought, he jumped right in there, and as we say down south, he put a whooping on him. He whipped him all the way out to his car. That guy was, all he wanted was away. It was awesome to behold.
And we are very proud of Josh and what he did. We always wanted to let people know that caution should be an important part of the equation. If it's just over a couple of bucks, you probably don't want to do what he did. But when an individual was attacked and put in danger, that's when it's time to do what you have to do.
And he made that sacrifice. He jumped right in, and he made the point also that had he seen a weapon, he certainly would not have done so. But in the course of his intervening in this robbery, he broke out the car window of the suspect who was attempting to flee. He seriously injured his finger. He severed the tendon, is the way he described it. He's going to have surgery, and he's working on that. But he got involved, and he stepped in, and he did a great thing.
One of the reporters at the press conference asked him, "What were you thinking?" And his answer was, "I wasn't thinking." But in reality, he was. Not only did he physically insert himself into the situation to help protect the other individuals, the people working there and the other diners at the restaurant, but he also did engage his brain activity, and he got the guy out of there. And when the guy fled in the car, he got the tag number and did things to help you be able to find this bad guy.
Yes. If nothing else, he had a good description. He had the vehicle tag number, and that description helped us identify him. Our software, he gave us some information about a tattoo, him and the clerk did, and we helped us narrow that person down, the suspect down, so we knew where to go.
All right, so congratulations and thank you, Mr. Bowling, for getting involved in the way that you did it. And let's go ahead and say thank you to everybody else that's called in information over the last week. How many arrests did we have?
Well, this week we had 6 more arrests, and we are doing great. Those numbers are up to 3,248 arrests for Calhoun County Crime Stoppers. Awesome.
That is great. Well, we're going to give you another chance to get involved here in just a few minutes. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations, Sheriff Amerson, John Garlick, and Matthew Wade, my friends, for 10 years of Calhoun County's Most Wanted and over 3,000 arrests. Way to go, guys.
Congratulations, Calhoun County's Most Wanted and Crime Stoppers, for 10 great years. And thank you to the citizens of Calhoun County for putting 3,000 people behind the bars. Yay!
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, Jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Katina Houston with Family Links, and this is the parenting tip of the week. No one said raising kids would be easy, but nothing cuts to the core of a parent's insecurity greater than when our mini-me's behave in a way we find unacceptable. It's incredibly hard to admit that our child may be a bully. It raises fear, anxiety, insecurity, and even defensiveness. Our children, after all, are but a reflection of who we are as parents, right? Well, the fact is, it's a long and bumpy road to adulthood. Conflicts will arise and children will have to navigate their way through various protocols and peer interactions that maybe they haven't encountered before, all without the aid of maturity and social skill proficiency. And as they enter the elementary school years and beyond, kids have unsupervised time with other kids, as they should, and parents are not around to witness, let alone monitor their child's behavior. So what should you do if you get a call from the school or another parent informing you that your child has mistreated a peer? First, just breathe. Take a deep breath and be receptive to what you may hear. Second, be grateful. Be grateful you've been alerted. Thank the parent or teacher for informing you. Third, take a moment. Accept that you may need time to process what you heard. And lastly, make a pledge. Assure the parent or school that you will talk with your child and follow through. Now, what should you not do when confronted with the news that your child acted in an unpleasant manner? First, don't look for someone to blame. Second, don't justify the behavior by saying, well, this happened to my child, so he was just acting in response. And lastly, don't say, I know my child, and he or she would never do that. You don't necessarily know who your child is on the playground or at a slumber party. So it's then time to assess the situation and determine what steps to take to address disagreeable behavior. So, can parents do anything to prevent their children from becoming bullies? The answer is yes. By creating a respectful home where the parents don't demean each other, by choosing to be friends with people who treat each other with dignity, and by looking inward and seeing what expressions of anger we may or not be modeling for our children. Remember, we must realize that life is a learning process. Our children are relatively new at it, and they can't learn without making mistakes. It's how we help them deal with those mistakes that's important. For more parenting tips, please call Family Links at 256-820-5911.
Welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up in our lineup this week, Holly Tuggle. Miss Tuggle, last known to be living in Pinson. She's wanted for violation of bond on a possession and receipt of a controlled substance and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And take a look at Dakota Pinkard. Mr. Pinkard, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on a bond revocation for possession and receipt of a controlled substance. And this is James Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on bond revocation for possession and receipt of a controlled substance, use and possession of drug paraphernalia, theft of property first, and possession of a forged instrument second, times 6. And here is Candy Garwood. Miss Garwood, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for failure to appear on possession and receipt of a controlled substance. And meet James Bonner. Mr. Bonner, last known to be living in Piedmont. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession and receipt of a controlled substance and failure to appear on use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And this is Gerald Bailey. Mr. Bailey, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for probation violation, possession of marijuana first, obstruction of justice by using a false ID, and possession and receipt of a controlled substance. And last up in our first half, Jonathan Jackson. Mr. Jackson, last known to be living in Gadsden. He's wanted on probation violation for attempted manufacture of a controlled substance. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
All right, and we are back. We'll have more bad guys for you here in just a few minutes, but right now we want to talk to Vickie Thomas, who's got a really cool new project that she is working on in this area. Vickie, it's good to see you again. You're my travel agent. Vickie helped me with my my last trip that we went to Scotland and Ireland a few years ago, and we've got the Scotland part down pat after I used to live there, and we've still got family there, but we needed a little help with Ireland. You took care of that very well for us, and we appreciate that. And being a travel agent for 30 years, one of the things that you know well is luggage. Everything to do with luggage, which I could have used on my previous trip over to the British Isles when I found out that I was going to have to pay extra to get some luggage onto the next plane. It was fine getting it over there, and then we got onto a plane that started in London instead of starting in this country, and now we got to pay extra for it. It's confusing stuff, but you know all about that stuff.
Probably Flybe,
Yeah. Well,
the airline.
that's really not the kind of luggage situation that we're here to talk about today, though.
No.
Sheriff, you know, you work with foster kids a lot. You see what's going on with these kids that are going from home to home. And I'm sure that you've seen exactly what Vickie pointed out to me that I had never thought about before. These kids, when they move a lot in some cases.
Yes.
When they do, they don't pack their stuff up the way you and I pack our things up when we're making a move. A lot of times they're moving with everything they own in a Walmart bag or a trash bag.
Exactly, Chris. A lot of you think about us moving, like I said, you pack and you get prepared and you go. Well, these children that are in these situations, they don't have that opportunity. They don't have those resources, and as Vickie mentioned, it's a garbage bag that they put their stuff in.
So, Vickie, what's your idea?
Well, what inspired me was there was another travel agent in Virginia that is starting a process called It's My Bag. And I have made a Facebook page called It's My Bag Alabama so that people can access the information. But basically, it's a luggage drive for foster kids. It's to provide them with something to put their things in where they're moving from home to home or going back to home visits or just about anywhere. It's to give them a little bit of dignity during this time where they're just being uprooted from their home, the only thing they've ever known.
And that dignity, it sounds important, and it is important, but it's more important than sometimes we think about just the absolute shelter necessity, the food necessity. But Sheriff, the way that we see ourselves in society has so much of an impact on how we behave in society.
Absolutely, and these young people, they have nothing, and they're go to a place and they're strangers, and people still love them and try to help them, but they're so disconnected. So having something they own, having some place that they're on, even if it's in a suitcase, is an important thing.
If you show up with a suitcase, that is different in your mind, if nothing else. It is a little bit easier than trying to carry a bunch of little Walmart bags or whatever, but just the mentality of it, it's different from showing up like a bum off the streets, whatever. It's you're showing up with a little bit of dignity, and that has an impact on the whole relationship. So it's a great idea.
It gives them an opportunity to possess something in a place where they really don't have anything. It gives them a little bit of stability at that time. When I spoke to one of the social workers at DHR, she said normally they have 25 to 30 kids a month that come through DHR that are taken from their homes. And that's new ones, not just the ones that are moving and going from place to place, but that's removal of kids from homes. And we hope to help DHR, the Alabama Baptist Home. They have a place for 10 kids here in Oxford, but they have other homes throughout the state. And then I also spoke to a social worker at the Big Oak Ranch. And she said even though, they do receive lots of donations, they receive lots of money donations. All of that money is pretty much earmarked for food, housing, things like this. Luxury to them is a luxury item. So even if they're kids that have, moved into a great place there, it gives them, that's a luxury item that they don't provide to them. If they don't receive a donation of luggage, then they don't have any way to provide it for them because it's not in their budget.
All right, now let's be realistic about this, because sometimes it's hard to put ourselves into the situation and know what is going to be an appropriate item for these kids in this situation. What kind of luggage are we looking for, and is there anything specifically that we aren't going to be able to use?
Well, older suitcases that are heavy, you have to consider that the majority of these kids are smaller. They age range anywhere from, infant, of course they can't carry their own bag, up to 18. But the preferred ones are like the carry-on bags that you use for airplanes that have rolling wheels. Now the older bags, that don't have wheels, the older kids could utilize those as well because they can pick them up and carry them. We can use some backpacks Some, smaller bags like carry-on bags are great for, if we need to provide them with 2 bags. But normally just the rectangular ones with a handle and the rolling wheels are best.
Those are the best, but if you've got something that's not exactly that, don't just hold on to it saying it's not perfect.
Right. If you have something you don't know whether it can be used or not, please go ahead and bring it. I picked up some things today. Part of it I'll be able to use, part of it probably not. It's a little too, old, too bulky for them to utilize. But, I'll find a home for it somewhere.
Okay, we'll talk about the drop-off points and other things. We got some more questions we want to talk to you about in just a minute. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations on Calhoun County Most Wanted and Crime Stoppers for 10 years on the air and 3,000 arrests.
Congratulations to Calhoun County's Most Wanted, 10 years on the air, and the Crime Stoppers for their 3,000 arrests. Great job, guys. Keep up the good work.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
a crackhead,
drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch like me.
I once was
homeless,
broken, sad,
just lost. But now I am sober,
happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
It's the low monthly payment sale going on at Sunny King Honda all month long. And we also have great interest rates. Lease a new 14 Civic LX for only $159 a month. Lease a new 15 Accord LX for only $209 a month. Interest rates as low as 0.9% for 60 months on 15 Accords, 14 Civics, and 14 CRVs. And don't forget to check out Sunny King Honda and all our great used cars. Sunny King Honda exit 188 off I-20, where customer satisfaction is king.
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Anita Henniger. Miss Henniger, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for failure to pay on possession of a forged instrument, 3rd. And this is Jonna Lance. Miss Lance, last known to be living in Jacksonville. She's wanted for probation violation on interference with custody. Take a look at LaQuentin McCormick. Mr. McCormick, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana, 2nd. And here is Jason Odell. Mr. Odell, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on manufacture of paraphernalia. And meet Michelle Kennedy. Miss Kennedy, last known to be living in Oxford. She's wanted for probation revocations on possession of marijuana, 2nd, use and possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting arrest. And last up in our lineup this week, Titus Sterling. Mr. Sterling, last known to be living in Oxford. He's wanted for failure to pay child support, the face of a deadbeat dad. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you know the whereabouts of any of these folks, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers 256-238-1414.
We are talking with Vickie Thomas from Magnolia Vacations, and today talking about the new project, It's My Bag, Alabama. Trying to get people to donate their unneeded luggage so that kids who are in the foster care system will be able to use that when they have to travel from place to place and not just be showing up at a new family's house or visiting their birth parents, whatever the situation is, not doing that, carrying everything they own in plastic bags, but in a bag that they own that's a good, reasonable piece of luggage. It's a great idea. I applaud you for taking this on. A natural step as well for a travel agent. Sheriff, one of the things I love the most about this is it's not something I've been asked for before. We've all been asked for cash donations, food donations, clothing donations, a lot of different things that people have asked me for. And, you know, we go through the closet, we go through the wallet, we go through everything we own, and we make donations. Nobody's ever asked me, do you have any unused luggage that you can donate?
And it's a great idea. People, if you hadn't seen the heartbreak, or some event happened in your house, your folks got arrested for drugs, or there's an abuse situation and you got to be moved out, you're ripping that child from their environment. Even if it's a bad one, it's what they know. And so having something you can say, here's something you can have, because usually it's a crisis move. It's in the middle of the night, you grab your stuff and go. And the need for foster parents is huge. So having this ability, this connection, here's your possession, here's something you can have that you can control your own space. That can be a big deal.
All right, so Vickie, let's talk about where people can bring these bags. If they've got something to donate, what do they do with it?
Well, right now we do have some locations throughout the county, and I made the list. Area-wide appraisal in downtown Anniston. They're right behind Parker Church on 12th Street. Title Bucks in Oxford is helping us out there as well, so they're right there right before you get to the mall. Merle Norman Makeup in Jacksonville on Highway 21, about a mile before you get to the square. Expertise Hair Salon, Alexandria. They're on Highway 431. So trying to make them easy access locations in areas that people can get to easily. Now we've also got one in Weaver at the Buckhorn Clubhouse. That's right above the Classic at Buckhorn. So if you're out there having lunch, take a bag with you and drop it off upstairs. Right now, those are the ones that I've set up in Calhoun County. I've already been contacted by a couple of people in Gadsden, Heflin, White Plains, and Aniana. As far as Aniana, I haven't had a chance to set up locations there yet, but I'm working on that.
All right. Is there anything we need to do to the bags before we drop them off?
If you can sanitize them before you do, wipe them down, spray them with some Lysol, make sure they're able to be delivered once we pick them up. Mm-hmm. That way, because right now it's just me, and to sanitize them, get them cleaned up so that I can deliver them as quickly as possible.
All right. And again, the Facebook page is It's My Bag, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And Sheriff, would it be okay to share that on the Sheriff's Office Facebook page?
Absolutely. We'll do that on our Facebook and our webpage. We'll get the word out.
Yeah. I don't know if you've checked the Sheriff's Office Facebook page. Over 25,000 people have liked that page now.
Good.
So it's going to reach a lot of people.
Good.
Thank you. That's what this show is all about. It's about interacting with the community and the Sheriff's Office, sharing information, and it goes both ways. We put information out here on the show and on the website and on the Facebook page. The viewers send information in to us that helps you and your deputies do the job. And this is definitely some great information to share there, so that'll make it nice and easy for folks to find that. Anything else that we need to know?
Not right now. Basically, I would like to make this an ongoing project. I know we've started it around Christmas time, and I've had a lot of people assume that this is just a Christmas project. Mm-hmm. It's not a Christmas project. I want this to be an ongoing drive throughout the whole year, because there's a need all the time. It's not just a Christmas time, need for these kids. This isn't a gift for them. This is something they can have.
You touched on it, and I'll just reiterate, they're dealing with 25 or 30 different children a month. So you hand that luggage out, you're going to need more. Right. So it's not, like she said, not just Christmas. This is constant.
Right. And it's also shifting with each child. They don't just go into one home and they're done. That's not the way this works, unfortunately. Sheriff, do you know how often these kids might be moving?
It can be once every month or every couple of months. Sometimes it's not a best fit, and they have to do some changing. And there's multiple kids in one location. You got those issues, so it's a big deal. So again, if you're looking at 30 a month for Calhoun County, that's an ongoing need. So you're 300 or 400 pieces of luggage a year.
Yeah.
But you also have to consider that's 30 that they've taken, based on that, bad, not bad parenting, but bad situations. You also have the ones that are placed into the system by their parents directly, that aren't removed, that are just given away. And those, that's a hard case too. There's a couple of hundred kids at the Big Oak Ranch. Several of them have been placed directly there that, didn't go through the original part of the system. Yeah. There's 200-300 kids there. There's 10 kids at the Baptist system. And that's just... To me, it's heartbreaking, and I just can't. I had to do something.
Yeah. Well, the need is definitely there. We thank you for stepping up, and I promise you that a lot of other people are going to step up into this effort with you. And again, you can get that information on the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, and also look for the It's My Bag Alabama Facebook page. And we'll be back in just a few moments with our Crazy Criminal of the Week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations to Calhoun County's Crime Stoppers and the Most Wanted program that airs on the TV all the time, and for being on the air for 10 years, and also for arresting over 3,000 people. Great job, guys.
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved.
A crackhead, drug addict,
alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch like me.
I once was.
Homeless,
Broken. Sad.
just lost.
but now I am
Sober. Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we want you to put on your deer stalkers and help our investigators with these cases. First up on your caseload this week, between December 1st and December 2nd, a building on Reagan's Chapel Road in Ohatchee was broken into. They got away with an air compressor. And on December 2nd, this residence on Alexandria Wellington Road in Alexandria was broken into. They got away with a television and all of the Christmas presents under the tree. We need to find out who did this and bring them to justice. And on December 4th, this residence on Choccolocca Road was broken into. Assorted jewelry was stolen from that location. And on December 6th, this residence on Lisa Drive in Alexandria was broken into. Damage was caused to the residence, but nothing has been reported stolen at this time. And last up on your caseload this week on December 4th, a gray 2009 Toyota SUV was broken into while parked at a business on Choccolocca Road in Anniston. They got away with a purse. And that's it for the Crime Stoppers portion of our show. If you have any information on these cases, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers 238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Our crazy criminal of the week this week, Sheriff, let's just go ahead and say it. The individual who attempted to rob the Huddle House in Alexandria at 1:30 in the morning.
That's right. Don't rob a business that has a Southern gentleman in there, a true Southern gentleman, and don't push the ladies around.
Yeah.
You may not like it.
If you're out in the country in Alabama and you're pushing a lady around, there's a good chance somebody's going to stand up, and then you won't be able to stand up.
That's right. Our Southern culture, we get kidded about, we might get made fun of, but at the end of the day, we do the right thing.
And we also had a crazy criminal that a couple of guys that did a carjacking. They stole a car, forced the guy out of the car, and tried to drive away in his car, and then they realized, hey, wait a minute, I don't know how to drive a stick. So they forced him back into the car and held him at gunpoint to try to teach them how to drive a stick. Got a couple of blocks down the road. He gets out. They forced him out again and took over, thought they had it handled. They still didn't have it mastered. He called the police, and that chase didn't go very well for the people trying to learn how to drive a stick.
I'd never thought about it being a self-defense tactic to have a straight shift.
There you go. Worked out pretty well for him. But anyway, we thank you for joining us this week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. We hope that you've learned something. Most importantly, we hope that you have some information to help us learn something. If so, please give us a call, and we'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.